Mr. Stauber, I appreciate and have heard many times your passion about mining. I've heard your, I thought, thoughtful comments about the risks of mining offshore, where we have less control over the environmental impact and the human labor costs. And I know about this because I have been in committee, listening, present, doing the work of this committee, doing the work of Congress, and I've heard you speak about it, and I've heard your passion time and again, and I appreciate the opportunity to hear it today. And I understand your disappointment, but there is a big difference, Mr. Stauber, and I think this committee needs to hear it, which is we took a vote on a number of mining bills. You didn't like the outcome, and I know that is painful, but we took a vote. I'm asking for a vote. I'm not asking that anyone change their core beliefs. I'm asking simply to have the opportunity to put forward a piece of legislation and have the members of this committee give it their due consideration. So I think within the operation of this committee and its procedures, not the substance or merits in which we may agree and disagree, and we may be disappointed. I've been disappointed with some of the things this committee has done, and I know you have felt that disappointment, and I hear it, and I know it's painful for your community. But we took a vote on a number of those bills. We have not voted and are not scheduled to vote on the Bureau of Reclamation reauthorization, and that is my objection. Again, if there is a member of the Republican committee, a Republican colleague, who would like to discuss or air their substantive concerns to the reauthorization of the Bureau of Reclamation study, I would be delighted to have those conversations. But Mr. Stauber, they have not happened. And I know, because I was present in this room.
Would the gentlelady yield for a moment?
Just one second, then I would be happy to. I was present in this room when there was heated debate back and forth about mining. And you had your vision, other people had theirs, and there was that dialogue. There was that back and forth, which is the premise of the work of markup and hearings. That has not happened with regard to my bill. So with all due respect to your both your passion and your disappointment, your advocacy for your constituents, I think the situations are not parallel. And I yield back to Ms. Portola, so I guess we yield back.
Okay.
Gentlelady yields back.
Yield time to me.
Mr.
Chairman.
Fulcher, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to yield some time to my friend, Mr. Stauber.
Thank you. To Representative Porter, thank you for your comments, and I am extremely passionate about our economic drivers and mining in our great state. I just want to ask you a question. Today, you're objecting to the unanimous consent. Is it because, is your objection strictly because your bill isn't being heard or voted on?
I am, oh, sorry, I'm not recognized, so I'm unable to.
I'll let the gentlelady answer.
You recognize.
Yes, I am objecting to the procedures of this committee with regard to how it proceeds on all remaining legislation until I feel like the committee is following procedures that reflect the need to do the work of the committee. So it is not with regard to any one of these bills, but the reality is there have been 21 Republican bills among committee members, 21 Republican bills of members on this committee that have been marked up to date, and there have been 5, counting today, 5 Democratic bills. And 3 of those have belonged to Mr. Neguse.
Just reclaiming my time, the question was, you're objecting to the unanimous consent pieces of legislation because you're upset your bill is not being heard, correct?
Are you yielding?
I'll yield back to you.
I'm fighting to make sure that a program that expires September 30th does not expire. And to do that, it needed to have been in this markup, or it needs to be a commitment to be in the next one. So yes, that's what I'm fighting for, and I'm using this process, the only process that is left to me, having negotiated in good faith for months with Republican staff to try to advance the cause of this bill.
Reclaiming my time, and I yield back to the gentleman, Mr. Fulcher.
Yield, Mr. Chairman.